I always have this conversation, and we started today's conversation off with the same idea of like, it's kind of hard to approach scholars and imams and people with like really, with issues that are very close to your heart and sensitive and very real, right? Sorry. Issues that are very real. It's kind of hard to have conversations about that. I feel like the times that I've personally felt, I guess, like the most captivated and the most inspired.
Space. Okay.
Yeah, it has been in like smaller circles where everyone's being real, where there's a person there who knows what they're talking about, and there's emotional intelligence at the table, right? People know how to communicate. They know how to read people. They know what they're saying and how they're saying it, and they're not being idiots with how they're preaching, right? And you find a lot of that, like all over YouTube. You'll find like self-prescribed gurus, right? Or like Islamic helpers or mentors who are just saying things that are nonsense, and then they end up becoming YouTube celebrities. Like that's not what we should be doing. What we should be doing is seeking out the people who've actually studied it in these humble gatherings where you build a sense of community, a real sense of brotherhood and sisterhood, and you come together and you learn and you grow. And it's basically a sacred, safe space. Sacred in the sense that we're practicing Islam here. We're aiming for something greater. And it's safe in the sense that you can come as you are to learn Islam as it is. And I remember I went to my teacher one time, Dr. Umar's sheikh, his teacher, and I said, back in my community, like, there's people from all different walks of life. How do you communicate to the different groups of people? And he said, if people are going to come, just like welcome them as they are. They may even come with their boyfriends and girlfriends. Just let them come and sit in the circle, because they don't even get that luxury in other places. They're rejected straight out. And I don't care if you're like, in all these conversations people are having, I don't care if you drink. I don't care if like, if you're like gay or whatever it is. It's just like, that's not the point. The point is, do you want to learn about the spiritual journey? Then take that step, and you can do that.
Yeah.
And then what you decide to do after gaining that knowledge is up to you, and that's between you and God. But create the circles first.
I think also your space is really amazing because you have these things that like, as kids, we miss out on as Muslims growing up in the society where we're like, oh man, I don't get to celebrate Christmas. I don't get gifts on this. I don't get to do this and that. And from what I've heard about, some of Dr. Umar's sessions and then your things, is like, there is that environment of like that sort of campfire clubhouse type of thing where even you've had in the mantle like a gift exchange. Mm-hmm. So why is that important to include, as part of your programs?
So the way I see these things, like for example, when Christmas time comes around, we don't even celebrate Christmas. We're like happy because there's an energy in the air, right?
Everyone's joy.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Right. And so what's sad to me is that because we've been a part of that for so long, we've been raised around it. When the Islamic holidays come around, we don't have that same sense of joy. It's like a different kind of thing, right? Mm. It's just like, we go to the mosque, get some Eid, and that's pretty much it.
There is that. Yeah. There's like that feeling, but we've never expressed it
outwardly. Right?
Outwardly, right.
Never expanded on it.
Yeah. And so, decorating one's home, beautifying one's home,
Shout out Party City. I don't know if you noticed, but they had Ramadan decor for the first time.
Really?
They
had a lot of
only this year or like recently?
If they had it previously,
I remember seeing it at least 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, but they like had a extended selection of it this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I forgot what I was saying.
Wait, real quick on that. Buy from like people that are crafting their own stuff, like from Etsy and stuff.
Personal.
Party City's doing the corporate thing.
Yeah, but also
it's a good thing to
also buy from them because they know that there's a demand and it normalizes it for like the average Muslim who might not have access to that. Yeah.
Choose at your own will.
Including those types of things, the gift exchanges and this and that.
So for me, that's important because it's starting to revitalize and bring to center stage this idea that Islam is about love and mercy. It's about gift giving. It's about caring for your brothers and sisters, caring for your community. And it's just like it's almost like the more you study, the more you go into that, it's natural to us. Mm-hmm. More so than Christmas, because Christmas was like the invention of something else. Like it was not foundational to the Christian belief in terms of gift giving and Santa Claus and all that. That was like created, right? But for Muslims, naturally, just by merit of who we are as Muslims, we should be jumping with joy to gift and to celebrate and to love. and to create circles and gatherings and all of these things. And so, for the mantle, when we created like the gift exchange thing, we do it for like, in celebrating the birth of the prophet, which for anyone who that may raise flags for, the celebrating the birth of the prophet is just something that can be done any time of the year, right? It's just something to celebrate the fact that the prophet was born and the prophet sent him. Yeah. And in his life. And so to me, that's just like, that's beautiful, right? You're celebrating the life, the mercy of mankind by being merciful to others. And, that's a good way to honor the prophet. Peace be upon him. So yeah, that's where that kind of concept came from. It's just about, we need to create our identity. What do we do as Muslims during those periods of the year or just in general?